guys, Jen here from Mom Dad Cup of Kids, and today we're talking about something absolutely essential for anyone dealing today in today's day and age in technology, and that is how to KonMari your digital media. Now, we know how to do the magic of tidying up when it comes to our clothes, when it comes to our books, our miscellaneous items, our sentimental items, and we've talked about that a bunch on our vlog. In the meantime, one of the things that became readily apparent is that there's an element that we deal with on a day-to-day basis when it comes to our phones and computers and all the sort of influence of social media and technology that we really kind of need to take a look at and clear that up so that we can feel that sense of freedom not only in our stuff but in our digital footprint as well. So we're going to walk through kind of key tips and tricks on how to clean up your digital media so that you can get rid of that clutter and chaos and feel a lot freer when it comes to how to function on a day-to-day basis. So number one, social media. Your feed should feed your soul, and if it's not doing that, then it's time to clean things up. If there's people that you like, make sure that you're curating that kind of content for your feeds. Find those people and follow them. Make sure that you are liking their stuff so that the algorithm is working for you. If it's somebody who is making you feel miserable every single time you look at their Insta stories or you're looking at their social media posts and you're thinking like either jealousy or envy or disappointment, whatever emotion it evokes, it doesn't spark joy, let it go, let them go. Even if it's a competitor for your business, what have you, you don't need to see that because it makes you miserable and it brings you down in the day. If there's somebody who acts like Eeyore, or it's just sadness from inside out and it's always, oh, you know, and everything that they post seems to be miserable, that's not bringing you joy, and you can mute them or unfollow them depending on your relationship, but certainly it is going to be far more effective than actually trying to maintain that sparking joy when you're constantly getting that fed into your feed. So curating your feed, curate, really make sure that everything that you are seeing on social media is sparking 100% joy, because that is something that can drive you into an abyss really, really quickly. And we stand by the fact that, you know, social media is supposed to be here for good, not for evil. Your phone. So one of the things we discovered in terms of how we are functioning with our phones is we actually took a look at how many apps we had. Taking time to clean up all those unnecessary apps. If you haven't used them in the last 3 to 4 months, let them go. You can always re-download them if you suddenly require them, but in the meantime, it's taking up data in your back end and it's making you potentially feel that you're overwhelmed with all the amount of apps. Clean them up, put them in folders if you can so that it's just succinct, and then, you know, again, it's just tidying up so that you're seeing a really clean picture every time you're looking at your phone rather than the clutter of all the thousands of notifications of apps you don't pay attention to begin with. Consider the amount of time and energy you're spending on social media or actually on your phone. This has been a huge eye-opener for us. There's a new addition to your iPhone which is called Screen Time that you get in your latest update, and Screen Time has been blowing our minds. When you start looking at the fact that you are spending X amount of hours on social networking, it kind of makes you think that maybe your presence in present day is a little bit lacking. So we've been looking at how much we're doing on social media, how much we're using it for entertainment. We're even starting to set limits for ourselves, which you can do within the Screen Time application. And doing that, it's starting to get us into that trained kind of mode of letting go of our phones by the end of the day. I've been setting it, it's been tricky, but it's definitely a work in progress. And just even the amount of times, Screen Time shows how many times you pick up your phone in a day. I have been over 100 consistently, which makes me scared about the fact that I obviously have some element of a phone addiction. So even trying to change up how we're actually functioning on that perspective, it's like we need to go into rehab when it comes to, you know, connections with our phone. But man, what a difference it makes in terms of actually just your perspective about being present. So there's also, you'll see in our blog post that we've put down below in the comments, there's also a number of Android options that are available that you can use if you are not on iPhone. Text, voicemails, notifications, clean that stuff up, man, because it can feel overwhelming. You know, certainly when we see, I don't know if you guys are the same way, but I will think that I've texted somebody back because I've meant to text somebody back, and then I realize I haven't. Unless you actually are having an ongoing daily conversation with that person, let go of those texts. Make sure that your voicemail is clear. Anywhere where there's notifications, do your app updates and just clean that up for the week and try and keep on top of it because it makes a huge difference of feeling that overwhelm. In terms of your computer, the first thing you see when you open up your computer on a daily basis is your desktop. Now, again, I have been super guilty of that desktop just loading up with all the folders and all the files, and that automatically conditions me to think that as soon as I open up my computer that I'm overwhelmed with the amount of stuff sitting on my desktop. If you aren't actively using that particular file or document, let it go. Upload it to iCloud Drive, make sure you back it up somewhere. But other than that, if it's not something you need access to on a daily, then it's something that you can get rid of and you can always go back to. But in the meantime, it absolutely can be overwhelming on that piece. Unsubscribe when it comes to newsletters is your very best friend. This is something that I've really been working hard on over the last 6 months, and I realize, regardless of all the sort of specifics of the advertising standards and communication laws, it's not mattering. You're still getting 1,000 extra additions onto newsletter databases that you don't even know how you got onto. I use something called unroll.me, which allows you to actually take a look at all your subscriptions and roll them up so that you don't see them in your inbox on a daily basis, and you can access them by your choice versus by automatically feeling flooded with that in your inbox. What I've noticed is I've unsubscribed, I think, for 350 newsletters that somehow I've ended up on, even though I didn't intentionally. But that amount of time that you're looking at newsletters, unless they're really important, is really taking up space and time in your day. So I've even looked at the ones that I've kept unrolled and that I've subscribed to that I like. If it's not something that I'm actively looking at in that moment, then I'm letting that go as well, because unless the newsletter is serving you for a really purposeful reason, it's not necessarily, and it's just adding clutter. If you're curious about something, you'll go to their socials, you'll find out those discounts or those opportunities in different ways. And honestly, again, it's just, if time is now a commodity of choice, aside, like you've got time, you've got money, and time becomes that thing that you value just as much, then honestly, it's not worth the time and energy to have all those newsletters coming in. You just don't have the time to even look at them. Another thing that has been a real awareness when it comes to the digital media space for me is the auto renew subscriptions. This is a dangerous field because I didn't actually realize how many of my subscriptions were auto renewing until I went back and I took a look at my PayPal and my credit card bills to see what I was getting auto charged for. I realized, are you ready, that I have spent over $1,000 of unnecessary subscription renewals over the last 3 years because it was automatically renewing. I wasn't aware of it. I thought I might need it again. And when I look back, I am now really checking in on myself as to whether or not those purchases or whether or not it's something that maybe I can do on a one-off versus a subscription. So don't get caught on those trials if there's something that isn't a consistent element that you're using on a daily basis, because quite honestly, it's expensive. That's the bottom line. My two other nemesis that I talk about in our blog post is inbox zero, the destination goal of having 0 emails in your inbox. I think this would be the most coveted opportunity for me to figure out. There is a philosophy that you can look up called inbox zero. It talks a lot about how to set it and then create a habit, I guess, that makes sure that you keep up on your inboxes. I don't know very many people, but I think those people who've managed to do 0 inbox emails at the end of the day, I bow to you, because it is, to me, one of the most impressive things in terms of managing email. But realizing that I'm getting over 200 emails a day that are requiring responses in and around those newsletter subscriptions it's just an effective way to manage your inbox. So if you can do it, try, because I think that our mindsets are so full of managing our digital space that it's taking up a lot of our happy place on a daily basis that is infringing on just having that comfort of having time and space to spend on whatever we want to do versus just having to deal with the benign management of what's happening on our phone. The last thing is photos. This is an ongoing process for me. I've tried a duplicate photo cleaner and I tried Gemini 2. So far, I would say that Gemini 2 for Mac has definitely been my winner. It did cost some money to go through all the duplicates, but in one sense, I looked at the fact that it freed up 6 gigs of memory on my computer, all in duplicates. So I felt that the purchase, which was about $20, was worth it, because the time that I was going to save in not having to individually go through my photos to try and figure out those duplicates was huge. Because what it did is it actually pulled from all the folders in your entire computer and said it had the location of these 3 different locations, which isn't necessarily even showing all sitting in photos. There might be an iCloud Drive backup, there might be an extra one on my desktop, and then there was one of my photos. If I can get rid of all those, then blessed be, it would be a happy, happy day. So those are the sort of 2 nemesis that I have personally. I'm curious about what yours are in terms of decluttering and getting rid of all those things that bring your head feeling really heavy and full, and what will actually spark joy for you. What do you need to get rid of? So stay tuned. We're going to be talking more decluttering videos. Check out our playlist on our whole KonMari experience and the emotional elements around what our experience was through that and how it really did and truly change our lives. Good luck. We'll see you soon.